That's what I learned. Alright, so let's go back to the beginning of this game. He does something that I never do off the start. I talked about it on basically every game that I've gone over so far. Most of the people do different strats than me. There's like probably 5 to 6 different starting strats for every map, and I do the same one every game. So when people do different ones at the start, I can't really comment on them. So he goes into yard, does this little sneaky jump, which is interesting. It makes him a little bit slower, but uh, makes it a weird angle so that when he pushes in, it gets weird. His teammate gets out of yard and goes yard ledge, and he pushes out. Pretty standard stuff here. So his opponents just captured snipe. One guy still captured bottom mid. I think that he knows that the guy he killed didn't cap it, but I'm not quite sure. But he should know that there's two guys at snipe, and they can go wherever they want. Whenever I first watched this, I was quite confused by this play. He just runs straight to bottom mid and starts capturing it. I'm like, this isn't gonna work. He's just gonna go down, and it's gonna be a terrible play, right? Then he does something that just is a great play. Look at this. He gets out of the hill. Like, how many people have the self-discipline to get out of the bottom mid hill when you have it like a quarter, a halfway capped? You're like, team, like, look at this, guys. I'm doing this all by myself. But then he just gets out. Because fuck it. Like, what do you need to get bottom mid for? And because that, he shoots one person, sees the camo guy, gets a little bit of help on the camo guy, and now they're capturing basically everything. Woo! Great stuff from RyaNoob. Really appreciate what he's done so far. Alright, looking at snipe. Like looking around the map, he knows that all three of his teammates are bottom mid. I think he should do something to get to the snipe spawn. Like, at least secure his team the snipes, rather than letting his team do the work, and going to blue here, and letting his team get sniped. So like like his team's having a little bit of trouble. If Trev loses that 1v1, things go fucking crazy for Rain here. But his team wins the 1v1. Now he's in this weird predicament here where he's not of much help. He could get a 1v1 kill. His team has a trip cap, but he's like, this is pretty worrisome right here because you're not controlling blue. You're not gonna be able to help Soda Stairs if they push up. You're like, if you get seen, you're dead. So this is a pretty bad spot, and I think he knows it. Is the thing is he was hoping for like a quick kill and then he could move off it, but since he didn't get it, he's in this position. So a risk reward play that I don't think worked out and doesn't need to be talked about too much. But now he's trying to make the best of a bad situation. So here's something that I disagree with is that he's still focusing on blue and his teammate is hotel and he has another one dip. He needs to be doing something on the map, and fighting in blue isn't really something in my opinion. But good 1v1 skills, able to dodge a shotgun, yada yada yada. Alright. So his team ends up winning the fight at snipe. That's really important. Like, you could say that Rain won that fight. Alright, let's talk about this overall gameplay. Let's let this guy get his shields back so I don't have to listen to that sound. Alright, so two of his teammates were in dip with him. He also went to blue. His kill in flowers doesn't matter that much. It doesn't. Like, it's pretty, like, it's good. He wins the 1v1, he gets the shotgun, he controls blue. But if his opponents get Soda Stairs and they win the fight at Soda Stairs, Rain's not going to be able to do anything. And his team should have been at a disadvantage because they're coming from blue to Soda, and they could have had a couple of different routes because they are Soda. So it was just a really scary predicament where his team ended up pulling ahead. And again, it's not. I would say like his not poor positioning. It's just it could have been he could have done more with his life to help out his team. Whether it's like leave blue altogether or like look out the window and make the shotty guy rush you while you're also shooting at his teammates, stuff like that. There's just more things that I think he could have done so far, but I'm not saying his play is bad. There's always stuff you can do better, and I think blue is one of those weird situations where you have to do more than just go 1-for-1 in order to help your team out and secure the double cap for your team. Alright, so now that his team, alright, so again, now that his team just won that huge fight, his main thing is to not die. If he can get any free kills, his team's gonna go like get a huge lead in points. But he can't let them get flowers for free. I think he just, mics in flowers. He's giving up a little bit too much space for his opponents. Now, your teammates can't be posters because they have a guy in flowers, and you're going to lose some map control because of that. So, again, this is something that he could have done more of by himself. He was too afraid to die, but he could have just gone cafe window shoddy and then moved flowers back to cafe, back to flowers, through the windows and through dip and all the other stuff. But because he went blue ramp, gave up flower control and gave up a lot of control for his team, he might have been able to help Trev in this situation as well. Good 1v1 skills as always. That's the one thing I noticed from this gameplay, is that he's super tight at 1v1s. Doesn't really lose any, doesn't miss shots really. Alright, so if the camouflage wasn't up here, I would say that this play is pretty bad. Why, you might ask? He got a free kill on flowers, and then instead of helping his team, he ran all the way back. So he got the kill on flowers, and instead of going flowers to top middle and putting shots down, or flowers to dip to bottom middle, he went all the way back around blue ramp and basically left his team out to dry. You can't help your team out from blue ramp. Blue ramp is like one of the bad spawns in the game, depending of course, but it's a pretty bad place to be. It's much better to be cafe window and like trying to help your team as much as possible. I think that's the biggest flaw with Rain's gameplay so far, is that he's not trying to help his team as much as possible. But he does have camo, so overall it's probably a net positive so far, but just stuff to keep in mind. Twitch chat. Here we go. Alright, what was the mistake here, friends? Alright, I will play it one more time. Wow, it backed up so far. Alright, I will tell you when the play starts, and I want you guys to give me the mistake that he made here. The biggest mistake he made. Alright, so right here. It's a 4v4, looking around the map. 1, 2, 3, 4 versus 1, 2, 3, 4. When did he make the mistake? What was his mistake? I guess is the best way to put it. Should have went for nest. Nest went bottom mid. Should have went nest. Great stuff, guys. Perfect. Shit. Hey, backing up in theater now. It takes forever to get back to it. So yeah, he should have went to nest. And the reasoning is because his team didn't lose a player. He had 2, maybe 3 guys already inside bottom mid, and then he ended up going for it. Why this matters? It's all about control in Strongholds. It's not about like how much damage you're able to do, how much you're able to help your team. It's about control. So because he sends all 4 bottom mid, instead of going to snipe, you're giving them an opportunity to get sniped. You're giving them an opportunity to basically do anything, because you have to send people to snipe in order to get points. So by going bottom mid here, I mean it's pretty obvious, as you guys have stated or showed, but it's just really important. So instead of capping snipe right here, wow, look at this, guys. Instead of him solo capping snipe, he ends up going to dip. His team can't get snipe, and now they're in a lot of trouble. Boom. So he's done a really good job at staying alive. Yep, stays alive still. But he's not making the most out of each life. He's going into blue room with camo shoddy. Like, you can do a lot of things. Add snipe, top middle, bottom middle with camo shoddy. But unfortunately, like he's not really able to help out his team. Like this is the most he's been able to help out his team so far. Yeah, exactly for Anoya. There's 3 dead before he dropped to bottom mid. So getting into this 1v1, a little bit slow reaction times and maybe low sensitivity, but ends up winning the fight. And that's what look at this. He's on a killing frenzy. I wouldn't consider what he's doing killing frenzy worth. Like he's gotten 10 kills in a row, but his team was up 27-7 before he started this frenzy. Now he's on a frenzy. They're up 41-32. That's pretty bad. Now they get the reset on S. Bottom mid's not being capped. And they're in a really good situation. Alright, perfect. Let's stop the film right here. Rain's team is in a great situation here. Again, pretty self-explanatory. There's one guy capping bottom mid. You have 4 guys around the map that are perfectly set up to counter anything that they do. And they're down a man. There's absolutely no reason for them to lose. And we'll show as Rain's team should just absolutely demolish right here. Now this is just, I want to say something like that because it's really important to have in your mind. Like, this is a good situation for us. Let's not mess it up. Let's use our advantage to demolish them, and unless they, you know, make a good play and set up by themselves or for themselves rather than just going one at a time. Alright, as I say that, his opponent, bottom mid, gets 2 free kills by himself, and now he's last guy alive. I really don't understand Halo, guys. No, I'm just kidding. That's the beauty of Halo, is that no matter what you can do team-wise, if one player can make a difference like that, that's actually insane. And that's why matchmaking is like a weird thing. It's because you can do a lot of things right. Like he just did a lot of things right, but everything just went bad for his team. Except no, they lost bottom mid. All right. So again, what Reigns exhibited this entire game. All right. That was a little bit of an individual mistake. Here, I'm gonna go over that actually. So what Rain has been exhibiting this entire game is that he is a very competent player. Come on, where is it? There it is. All right. So Rain is a very competent player. He's able to win fights that he's able to win like all of his 1v1s. He outplays them. He tricks them. He does whatever it takes in order to win the fight. He does make a small mistake here, but it's a really good thing to see that this guy is like, he's got the mechanical skills down to be able to win these fights again. He makes a mistake here. So when you're in this fight on Soda Stairs, after he kills the first guy, this is gonna be 2 down. All right, stop. This is gonna be 2 down. He has 1 guy rushing him. There should be no reason for him to be afraid of a 4th guy shooting him. And if a 4th guy shoots him while there's 2 dead and he's fighting a 3rd guy, then he's done all he can in his life, right? So I don't like. It's hard to do hypotheticals in Halo, but basically, if he makes a 4th guy shoot at him, his team's gonna win the game for him. So in this position, what you can do, I don't know how familiar everyone is at this, but you can't just jump off the solid ground and clamber up to here, but you can walk into this corner and you'll hit a lip and then you jump and then you can clamber up to here. So that's what he could do to stay alive a little bit better, but instead he just jumps back out. And so again, if he jumps up onto the posters and gets shot from flowers, that's perfectly fine. His team's gonna be like, oh, they're flowers and loop, last 2 guys, like we're gonna win. Alright, has he respawned yet? Yeah. Alright, so spawned in blue, going for camo, great stuff. Alright, so he knows that there's a guy right underneath him. Gets lucky on that one. Put a grenade under the van, please. Just like hopes the guy comes out. It's a bit weird of a play, but there's 2 dead right now, so it's acceptable. But that's one of those weird situations. Again, matchmaking, I think his team could have helped out a little bit more. He got a double kill, was fighting a 3rd guy, 4th guy came along. That's just some Halo stuff. All right, so this I completely disagree with, guys. If you're under attack, look at Nest right now. If you're under attack, your first priority should never be go blue. Absolutely never. So if he spawns hotel, which he did, and then he goes up to blue ramp into blue, you're worthless for your team. So the only positive thing I could think of it is if his team said, no, we're gonna go yard here, guys, and they just absolutely give up control of Nest and bottom mid, and that's okay. But for no reason at all should he be going to blue right here. Yeah, and then he ends up fighting a guy top middle, and things go okay. He ends up going to yard though, so not as bad as it could have been, but yeah, I think he could have been fighting for Nest there, because I think there's 2 players on the opponent's team that was dead, but things go okay because he takes over yard. Alright, but again, he's favoring, alright, so he's favoring this dip, hotel, blue side area. I disagree. I mean, this is this weird situation where I always tell people, guys, like, this is my opinion. I'm not saying that I am right, this is what you do. Like, if you have a tendency to go dip and you think that's correct, you can call me wrong. Like, you can say I'm wrong, and I'm fine with that. Like, you can disagree with me. But in my experience, in my opinion, if Rain focuses his efforts more on top middle, on snipe 4, he could have gone from bottom mid, capping bottom mid, resetting bottom mid, whatever it was. Instead of going dip, he could have gone bottom mid to top mid, because I think they got 2 kills, right? Bottom mid, and then go S4, and then like take over snipe, and then what do you know? Yeah, take over the snipe control, because that's where his opponents are at right now. Look at that. Yeah, 1 off spawn to a snipe. So because he's going hotel, he's not going to be able to help his team at all with this nest control. Like, look how much he's been able to help his team. Hey, that's 3 dead. Get in bottom mid. Alright, this is fine play. He's just, yeah, I don't know. He's taking it really slow. Alright. So, because he goes dip there, he's not able to help his, like, he gets a couple of shots into the guy bottom mid, but that entire fight shouldn't have been won by his team. It should have been lost, theoretically, because they were bottom mid and they just ended up winning, because blue team dropped down and lost battles. Like, that doesn't make any sense. So, because he went dip, he wasn't able to put shots down. He wasn't able to take fights. All he did was, like, shoot one guy after everyone else was dead and not help cap bottom mid. So I think, again, going dip was a mistake there. And if he goes top middle, he's able to cut off the guys from going snipe ramp or snipe to top middle, and that helps out his team a lot more than going dip and fighting from that area. So I think this entire thing could just be like avoided. He could do so much more damage. Like, that's what I really love about watching this film whenever I first saw it, is that he is such a talented player. Look at his shots, perfect. Alright, so 3 dead, he knows where his last guy is. He's such a good shooter, he's such a good fighter, but I think if he just makes a couple of like overall gameplay changes, then he'll become an instantly better player. But and like that's the only thing that he needs to focus on. It's not like, oh, he's a little bit bad at everything. It's like he's super good at fighting, but then just like fails at this one thing that he can just practice. So I love it. Let me pause this quickly because I see a lot of questions in the chat, guys. I'm gonna answer questions after the review, And then after, like, yeah. So not answering questions right now. Gonna focus on the film. All right, so they got a trip cap. He spawns blue. Wants to help at a snipe. His teammates are dying. His teammates are winning bottom mid. Great stuff. Alright, so this all hinges on what his teammate does. So two of his opponents are dead. There's one guy at snipe, and his teammate, as you might have been able to hear, I don't know if you guys could hear specifically, but his teammate was in a battle, and his teammate lost that battle. Because his teammate lost that battle, he needs to let this guy go, and just focus on controlling bottom mid since they have yard, bottom mid, and nest. So let's look at where that guy is. He's like light rifle to top. Wow, that's a weird spot. Like light rifle. So he needs to stop what he's doing at snipe. He's not going to be able to kill this guy easily. He needs to make sure that bottom mid doesn't get capped. Look at this. That guy just drops into bottom mid. I think he's one shot too. But then they get nest. He gets shot from the guy one shot bottom mid. And now he's in this weird predicament where again he can't help his team. And now he loses bottom mid. Alright, so two fresh dead. What's going on here? Goes for snipe. Oh no! Oh shit! He had to reload and lost the battle. That's not good. Nest gets capped, so they're getting a little bit of points. Look at that, 4 players going to snipe here for his opponents. Capping bottom mid. He needs to get in there. Get in bottom mid so it doesn't get reset. Nah, I think it got reset. Alright, 1 fresh shed. Go top middle. Alright, 2 fresh shed. Cap bottom. This is fun. No, what are you doing? Whoa! Whoa! Whoa, red alert, timeout! What the fuck? Guys. What? Yeah, bottom mid was like halfway capped. It would have been like a 2-on-2. And then you're... Oh my god. I mean, I don't like... He loves dip a lot, for sure. I don't like being mean. Like, I don't want to just, like, over exaggerate how bad of a... how bad of a play that was. But that was, like, completely game losing. You could have just ended the game right there. So, I mean, it just feels like Rain is doing everything he can. Not everything. Come on, let's be nice. He's just not helping his team out like enough. Like he's getting kills. Like look at that. He does a decent amount of damage. Grenade kill with the AR. But he's not able to help his team because he's not going loop. He's going dip and cafe every time he spawns. And then right there, this is such a mistake. So when your opponents have 88 points and they have the setup and stuff like that, you can't afford giving up a death like that. You either have to take it really slow or go or really fast with your team. You can't just like die because now that you die, you have to desperate when you come off spawn. Alright, so looking around, like look at where his team's at. Let's judge. So because his teammate's blue ramp, that means he's gonna have a decent amount of chance to break out here. So you hear shots across the map. That's Romo and Mike over there trying to kill Trev. So they actually have a chance here to get sniped. But he gets flanked. Oh, by the guy U-turn. And that seems to be it. 98 to 95, and yeah, that's game. Whew. Overall, I think that was a great game to go over. This is like the reason that I wanted to go over these games. And I really hope that I can get better at using euphemisms rather than just like yelling, wow, that was a bad play. Because that doesn't really help anyone. So I feel kind of bad how I reacted to that. But anyway, I would love to watch another game like if Rain, if you could send me another game of you going over Plaza Slayer like after this, and just like not going dip or cafe as much as you are, I think your gameplay is just gonna improve so much just simply off of that. It's really that big of a difference if you just don't go cafe, if you don't prioritize it, if you don't go dip or cafe or anything like that. Let your opponent spawn there. I know there's different ways to play the game, but I feel like that's just the best thing to keep in mind on that game. And you're gonna be able to help out your team so much more. Like sure there's ways to play cafe, but I think it's a lot harder. You've got to like play it perfectly in order to help out your team and like win your battles, you know? So, yeah. I feel like I did pretty good on this. I highlighted his flaws and uh, really wanted to go over a game like this. This is like the epitome of what I wanted whenever I've agreed to go over the like whenever I told you guys, hey, I want to go over games. These are the games that I'd like to go over. Like the really skilled players, they're able to win battles, but their movement in the game just isn't as good as the pro movement. And that's where I can talk over. I can't really talk over games where, oh, he missed like every shot. Like and that's just how the game was. Like the winner is whoever hit the most shots rather than whoever controlled the map. This guy hit hit most of his shots, but if he would have moved around a little bit better, he could have ended this game like 150. So really enjoyed going over this game, and I hope I don't deter anyone from submitting future games. So now that I'm done with that, if you guys have any questions about this game specifically or the RyaNoob reviews in general, let me know in the chat. I'll answer some previous questions here shortly. But fuck, I had something for this, I swear. Ooh, good question from OKB Boys. Says, towards the end, was it necessary to have 3 deaths for the cap? Sorry if you said something. I did not say anything. So let's go back over this. It was very necessary. It was just unfortunate that his opponents. Look at this play. So Bruh doesn't get spotted and just goes Soda behind his team. If this guy does not go Soda, because they clear out top middle, they just get flanked by this guy going Soda. Oh, he had camo. So if this camo guy doesn't go Soda stairs, having 3 desperate nests here, having 3 desperate nests, will be able to look at this angle and help each other. It's really hard to grenade inside this nest and hit a decent amount of players from blue ramp, but so desperating 3 nests is actually a pretty good strategy. It forces your opponents under a lot of pressure to either like stop you instantly or set up to do something about it. And you can't really set up to take nest from blue. So you either have to go yard and still control bottom mid or something. So no, this is a really good ending from them. They just unfortunately got flanked by a camo guy. So I think it was a really good play. Do you do FFA reviews? No, sorry. I'm not very good at FFAs. I don't really know what to do. Do you do this with only subscribers? No, anyone can do it. If you would like to submit a game, type in !review, and it'll link you to a YouTube video on how to submit your games. And you can just leave it in the comments there or send it to me on Twitter. That's how this game was on Twitter. Do you think Rain was playing more for the kills than for the W? I think that Rain puts emphasis on both. Like it's not that he was playing more for the kills. It's that he was like, oh, if I get kills, then that contributes to the W, right? Well, that's what I'm here to basically talk about. That's actually what I really wanted to talk about was the players that do that and like helping to acknowledge the ideas of that kill matters not at all compared to controlling snipe. So like getting a kill on flowers, it doesn't matter. Like if he just didn't go cafe, uh, and went to snipe instead, it would have been done a lot more damage. It would have been a lot more beneficial of a play than to get a kill flowers. Like all they had to do is shoot around nest side. In my opinion, of course. Like I'm not saying it's 100%. So I don't think that it was like he was playing for the kills rather than W. It's just like he didn't. I don't want to say didn't understand how to play the game. It's just that uh, maybe he just has a maybe he just had a bad game where he just like was out of it or something. Which I mean, why would you send a gameplay? But I don't know. I think that I'd love to watch another game of Plaza Strongholds from him, and to try to figure out what was going on. How important is it to have LR and loop control when you have nest and bottom mid control? If I feel it helps the spawn the enemy blue and forces them to come back to yard and fight for LR control. Yes and no. Um, it really just depends on how set up your team is. You just have to realize, can we control loop? Can we control LR? If not, then you can do what Rain was doing and control blue, but you have to also rotate to snipe. Like you have to rotate bottom snipe, lift up. You can go like bottom mid to top mid to snipe. You can go S4. You don't really have to control loop, but at the same time, it's also not a bad thing. Like you can just control loop, and they've got to go from blue to yard. Like that's a perfect setup, spawning them in blue where they have to go all the way back to yard, and then kill you in light rifle, or try to kill you in light rifle. It's pretty hard, but yeah, I think that's the perfect setup. But in matchmaking, it's super hard to get that. Did you not have a game from Ramy's point of view? I thought I saw you did. I did it on Monday. Uh, of a Truth Slayer from Ramy's point of view. I thought I did a very good job, but unfortunately it wouldn't upload to Twitch, or it wouldn't upload from Twitch to YouTube. So I'm gonna have to figure that out and try to upload it. So if you guys want to go watch it, it's on my Twitch rebroadcast. Otherwise, wait for it to be on YouTube. I don't know if I'm having problems exporting Twitch highlights or not, but I don't know what the problem is. Is burning a power up good in a 1v1 situation when you were not sure if you'll get the kill? It's the safe play, but overall it's probably a net negative. So if you're in a 1v1 and like if you're in a 1v1 for OS and OS is up, and instead of taking the 1v1 fight, you just burn the OS, sure you're not letting your opponent get it, but it's a net negative, right? Because 50% of the time you get OS, 50% of the time he gets OS. But if you just forfeit the OS and burn it, uh, you're putting yourself, your team in a net negative position, right? So uh, that's the problem. That's the problem with going for the burn, in my opinion. Will this be the only review today? Yes, I do one review every Monday and Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern. I've done it for the last 3 weeks now, so this is my third week. I think this is only my fifth game though, because on one of the Wednesdays my stream broke just like it did today, but I ended up fixing it today. So I'm going to give a little bit longer for any questions. If you guys have any more questions, let me know, and I will be happy to answer. If not, I will be signing off because I have stuff to do today. Thank you for this. Well, thank you for watching. Like, I really appreciate you guys watching. The nice comments that you guys say, like, it helps me, like, want to do this more. Like, I enjoy doing it as like entertainment. I enjoy doing it as a fan service, and having you guys here and having you guys like telling me how much you appreciate it really helps me want to, do these more. So uh, really appreciate the appreciation. I'm struggling with Halo 5. I was decent with the older gen games, but I can't figure this one out. Any tips? I mean, use objects to your advantage, in my opinion. I think that's the biggest problem with mechanical gameplay, is that when you get into fights, you kind of just like are out in the open and then you just like fight to the death. But if you use objects a lot more, like cover up half your body with an object, it's harder to hit you. You can use those. You can like go left and right behind them. I'd say just use objects in order to fight. I think you'll get a lot better if you do that. What do you recommend trying to hold control on the? Well, obviously bottom and nest are the two best spots, and then depending on whether you can or can't, and this will take a lot of games to understand. You gotta push to loop. If you push to loop and you can control it with your team, then you're in a really good situation, because you can't really go from. So if your opponents are in blue, they can't really like go through this open area to sniper ramp and like try to fight you. Like first of all, you're in an advantage if you're up here fighting a guy down here, and then second of all, you can get shot anywhere going from blue to sniper ramp. So if you're holding bottom mid and nest and you have loop control, it's very hard for them to push into nest. So they have to go all the way back through yard and then through light rifle. However, if your opponents have loop, it's still okay to control blue and nest, but you have to realize when you need to rotate back and forth between the two. Bunk the hero that question. He says, hop in a stronghold before or while before getting kills, before you get the kills, but while you're getting them, or after you slay the enemy team. It just depends on the situation, man. I can't give like a clear cut answer. It just really depends on each situation. But alright, guys, I feel like this was good time. This is a good time to wrap it up. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll be back on Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern. I'll try to stream throughout the rest of this week, but I'm not 100% on that. I never am. But thanks everyone for watching. Bye.